If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Acknowledge us.
Hey, we here at the Red Carpet Ring. We here to talk about WWE SmackDown The Bloodline Reunites, Motor, MCMG, Face, A-Town Down Under, and more. We here at the ring, guys. We here talking about the SmackDown for November 8th. It will be more to cover. Of course, we got the bonus round here. We'll talk about how to book the OG Bloodline versus the current Bloodline at Survivor Series War Games. And then, of course, we will talk over what went wrong with SmackDown and also go over current news. You don't want to miss out on it. We're here live on Facebook and X as well. So, see who came in first before we begin. All right. So, we got everybody in there. Let's do that simple test I always ask everybody to do once it comes down to it. Let's do that. Let's get the likes up as we come in.
Not real.
Trust me.
But that doesn't do anything, man.
All right, we are here. Yeah, this SmackDown was definitely it's the first SmackDown after Crown Jewel. And I know that we ain't gonna see everybody there as expected. Granted, because they was all the way in Saudi. So we got to take that into account as well. Other than that, though, it's going to be definitely something to discuss as a whole for SmackDown. Definitely got some people to talk about, people to discuss on the show. See who did what, who went what. We got just a good SmackDown coming around. Now this is the show that's going to prepare us for Survivor Series that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. We literally got, I believe, 3 weeks away from Survivor Series. So that is around the corner. We can't forget about that at all. Definitely can't forget about that. So with that being said, guys, we here everywhere. And like I said, let's get on. Let's look over the match card for SmackDown. This is a SmackDown match card. This is all the stuff that was advertised. So we literally had Roman Reigns make an appearance, and I think they set a record. It's his 5th consecutive week in a row showing up on SmackDown, which is definitely unusual for the OTC. You got Cody Rhodes making an appearance. You got the Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and all Sami Zayn, and then you have MCMG having a match against A-Town Down Under, the former tag team champions. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the first match on the card, shall we? That's not the first match on the card, excuse me. Let's talk about actually of that. We had the show kicked off. The show kicked off of the Bloodline, their OG Bloodline. We had Sami Zayn came out. Jey Uso invited him to SmackDown to talk to Roman to settle their differences. They had that going on. Then also Sami Zayn wanted Roman Reigns to apologize, but not to him, to Jey Uso like treated him in the past. Because the whole goal here is they want everybody to get back, everybody to be on the same page. So that's the thing. And we also had too that Roman just was quiet, and he didn't have much to say at first, but he let Sami talk. Sami also said that he did not mean to kick Roman in the face, talking about Crown Jewel. And then this was after Roman Reigns had already called out Solo. He wanted Solo out there. So, and Roman, thing about it is, the whole crowd was chanting Sami Uso. And Sami Zayn said the only reason he came out there in the first place was for Roman, it was to help out Jey Uso. But he said it felt special to be back in the ring with all of them. going back to the OG Bloodline days. But he said that when Roman Reigns refused to apologize to Jey, said stop wasting my time. Then Roman Reigns spoke to Jey, and then he said that he was sorry his time was wasted. Then this was Roman called out Solo, and Sami Zayn walked away. Then Jacob Fatu walked on the screen. This is the most we heard Jacob Fatu speak. He basically told Roman Reigns and the rest of the original Bloodline that, hey, Solo is the original tribal chief. Solo will come out whenever he wants to, because this is playing off Solo pinning Roman at Crown Jewel. So it comes down to that. And he had a point from his perspective of why he should wait for Solo. That's the whole thing with Jacob. And Solo didn't know he was coming out. However, said Solo doesn't work on Roman Reigns' schedule. But it was a good way to kick off SmackDown. A little bit longer than I expected to be. They got their point across, but we get it. So we're gonna get to the first match of the night. Now this is Candice LeRae versus Bayley. Nothing much to talk about here. I know they really playing off how Candice pinned Bayley last week. They've been going off that. Candice, she was by herself, weird without Indy Hartwell, who was released last week. But other than that, though, Candice LeRae tried her best to cheat, take advantage of the match. She tried to roll up, and it was a cheap roll up. Bayley rolled her up, got the 1, 2, 3, and she pinned her. But that was a quick match. None to talk about there. But we'll get on to the next match of the night. We have Pretty Deadly versus DIY. DIY, especially Tommaso Ciampa. Lately, he's been on a tear. He's been wanting the tag team championships back. Johnny Gargano was seen talking to MCMG backstage. He knows them, have a history with Alex Shelley. And Tommaso's like, what are you doing? Why you talking to him like that? These guys just came into WWE, took the tag team belts that we once held before Bloodline, where we was robbed of. And even though they had the opportunity to get it back, DIY is just not be able to regain the tag team belts. And Tommaso Ciampa just upset. He's definitely going to heel mode. And either way, they had a match against Pretty Deadly. This is pretty much a squash match. Pretty Deadly was no match for DIY, in my opinion. So with that being said, DIY defeated Pretty Deadly. Simple as that. Let's get on to the next match of the card. All right, we have the women's tag team. Let me get there if I'm right. Okay. We have the women's tag team champions. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair versus Nia Jackson, Tiffany Stratton. This is a tag team matchup. Now, this was a little bit better match. It kept showing the Nia teasing against Jade Cargill, standing face to face. And it was basically simple as always, the same routine. Jade tags. She goes in first. She's down. She gets her offense. Then she's down. Bianca gets the hot tag. She comes in. Bianca goes and do her thing. And Bianca definitely gave some work to Tiffany Stratton. But this is when Candice LeRae interfered, got involved. As Bianca Belair was on top of the rope, she pushed her, as you can see. And Naomi came in for the save, attacked Candice LeRae. But this caused Bianca to get the advantage. She hit the KOD on Tiffany Stratton. And 1, 2, 3, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill wins the match. But definitely good match, good story. We see that Candice LeRae is still tied in with the Nia Jax, still an ally there. And Naomi still allied for Bianca and Jade. Let's get on to the rest of the match. Rest of the card. All right, we have the tag team match. MCMG versus 8-Town Down Under. Another good match. Good match. MCMG continues to look strong and dominant every week they come on here. They continue to do that. Now we see these guys, they had great chemistry. 8-Town Down Under did everything they could. It was very energetic, a lot of energy. but they were just not enough for MCMG. But I can tell that they're really gonna play off this. Austin Theory's been pretty much quiet in the segments with Grayson Waller. Now I know originally it was supposed to be A-Town Down Under as advertised to go to be on the Grayson Waller show and host and have MCMG on there. However, Nick Aldis canceled it. They just had a match instead. But like I said, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, they have not been the same. Austin Theory's been less talkative, and it definitely is teasing his further babyface run that's coming. I don't know when it's going to come, but we know it's coming at some given point. So, other than that, though, this was a solid match. Very solid match. Now, however, we got another segment for the OG Bloodline. This was the end of the show. However, at the end of the show here, it shows that I know Street Profits was shown backstage. They're gonna face MCMG for the tag team belts. And also, before we do get anything further, we do know as well, if you don't know already, we do know that Nick Aldis made an announcement. I made a video about it earlier, but we'll touch on it once again. Touch on it one more time. We know that the new title has been unveiled, and that belt we all know is the new United States Championship for the women's. Now, I know Nick Aldis, he made an announcement saying that the women's division is thriving. He also said too that so many women roster, they are going to have a chance to battle it out for this championship. He said it will not be given, earned handouts, but it's a nice title. The United States Championship has a nice design. It's just instead of, of course, it's white on the background instead of black like the original United States Championship for the men's. And you got the women's up there too. But you made a good announcement talking about
Women's United States Championship. This championship will not be awarded.
So Nick Aldis made a segment about this title. Nice looking title. I talked about in the video. Check that out. I made it about maybe over an hour ago. But what do you guys think about this title? This title was a nice title, nice design. I wish, one thing I don't like, and that's allegedly supposed to be on both brands. They're supposed to be rumored Raw's supposed to get an Intercontinental Championship title. Not so sure about that. But I think it's supposed to defend on both brands. Well, with this design, I just wish it was a different design. They make all these belts like that. It'd be the same exact sign for the men's. Just change the color. It always make the white background of the belt. It's always white instead of black, of course. Well, than that though, before we get into that, we'll get into the segment here. Now, the segment here we're going to talk about right now is the OG Bloodline segment. Now, with this here, we had the OG Bloodline, and then it was a Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony. So we had that going on at the end. They're supposed to acknowledge Solo. We saw that he came out. We saw that Solo was supposed to be acknowledged and all that. Now he said that while Roman came out alone, Roman did have some a backstage interaction with Jey Uso. Jey didn't like how Roman was talking to him. To say, you get your one pass, don't talk to me like that no more. Jimmy looked at Roman and walked off. So Roman came all alone, and Roman, he wants to face Solo for the Ula Fala. I'll talk more about that. Solo came out. Solo talked to Roman. He said Sami was supposed to be with Solo's side. And he said the kick in the face was indeed intentional. Now, Sami was just at the end, he came out. Now, when he did come out, Sami did come out. We thought he was gonna get close to Roman, but he ended up again, like Crown Jewel, attack Solo. And we attacked Solo. Roman start attacking. Roman again a spear on Solo. The Luva kick Sami Zayn did. But I can't believe Solo fell for the old trick twice. Like Sami got you at Crown Jewel. You thought he was on your side once, he tricked you. You thought he was on your side again. Like, what kind of supposed to tribal chief are you? I'm just saying. But they had that going on. Next thing you know, all members of Bloodline, OG Bloodline came out, Jimmy came out, all tagging each other. Next thing you know, at the end of the day, we had all four men. They have agreed to unite, as Sami Zayn stated earlier. It was magic being in something special with all four being in a ring together, and they date back to Bloodline Survivor Series 2022 War Games, which they did win. And this is when Sami Zayn officially was showed that he was part of Bloodline. There was no more Honoré Uso. It was Sami being part of Bloodline. But anyway, we saw all of that going on. We saw the attacks, everything. And at the end of the day, they all put their ones up in the air, and they are going to fight the Bloodline. And it's going to be set for Survivor Series. It's definitely going to be set. It's going to be something, definitely something amazing. We're going to be checking out. And like I said, I want to talk more about that soon with the bonus round. So you don't want to miss out on that. But it was, I like the magic there. So definitely a good yeet mode.
Yeet.
So it was good having all these guys in the ring together. But as you can see, they are, once these four together, they do tear it up. They do their thing. We can't deny that. We know the history of the Bloodline. That's what they do. They tear it up. And they always do it in the best way possible. So, and then I'll go over one more part of the show as well. But if you guys remember, this is how SmackDown was closed out.
Sami Zayn.
So that was closing out SmackDown. Definitely closing out the show. And like I said, there was some good moments here on the show. Had a lot going on here. You know, a lot of good stuff going on. So, but I'm going to go over one more part as well. I forgot to mention it. This was a key part of the show as well. It was real brief, real quick. But I'm going to talk about it. I kind of skipped over it. But I'll talk about it right now. And we're going to talk about KO. He takes out Randy Orton. So now think what this situation is. Randy Orton, this is not down to him, KO. According to him, he came out, he demanded Kevin Owens to come on out here. They start going back and forth. But the game changer was when Kevin Owens hit the pile driver. The band pile driver on Randy Orton. And you know the pile driver is not known for being used in WWE like that unless you're Undertaker or Kane. Very few people were able to do it because it has injured lots of men. We'll go back to 1997 SummerSlam, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the late Owen Hart, if you guys remember that. But he hit the pile driver on Orton, and KO walked off, and Randy was carted off on a stretcher. He had all the officials come out, everybody come out. Now, this is clearly to write Randy Orton off until Survivor Series. So Randy Orton will be off for for the next few weeks. It's not a real injury storyline. People thought it was real that he's being taken out. That is not the case here. Randy is good. They just have to sell the story because remember when Kevin Owens and Randy Orton originally had a scheduled match at Crown Jewel. However, the match never really was a match. These two just attacked each other with chairs and everything, and they was broken up by officials. So they never really had a match. But now we know that KO has taken out Orton, and Orton's definitely gonna give him a reason to come back and get KO at some point. Like I said, for Survivor Series or whatever the case may be. But KO did. He got the new shirt called Kevin is Right. The announcer did a good job saying he's delusional, think he's writing the whole thing and everything. But definitely a good way to book this whole storyline, because we know we're so focused on the bloodline, but this is a good story too. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Now remember, Cody Rhodes was seen, seeing Randy Orton carted off, assisting Randy Orton out. Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes is not over either. Now that Randy Orton is written off, he's taken out on stretchers with the band pile driver that Kevin Owens gave him. That's going to lead Kevin Owens to focus his attention back to Cody Rhodes. So how this all started in the first place, starting at the Bad Blood press conference when Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes had a confrontation outside the building, and then Kevin Owens attacked Cody Rhodes. It's just Randy Orton got in the middle of it, and now Kevin Owens took Randy Orton out. And I said that too, that Kevin Owens needs to look strong. He had to defeat Randy Orton in the match at Crown Jewel, or just take him out, put him on commission, put him on the shelf for a while, take him out of commission, I meant to say. And that's exactly what he's done. Now we're going to see Kevin Owens more than likely challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship again, but this time this is what Kevin wants to do, not Cody handpicking Kevin Owens, and definitely a different character, the heel Kevin Owens that we all know and love, or hate, whatever you may choose, and he would challenge Cody Rhodes for his title. So now we're going to finally get that. That's exactly what's going to go down. But other than that, though, the Bloodline segment closed out the show. OG Bloodline is official back. They will be set up for Survivor Series 2024, which will be in Canada. And that was the end of SmackDown. That's the end of SmackDown. We talk about SmackDown The Bloodline Reunites. MCMG face A-Town Down Under. So we have to go over the rating, though, actually. So what did I think of the show? What do I think of this particular show? Now, we have some good segments here. The Bloodline reuniting, like I said, KO taking out Orton. I got to be honest here. I know it's the first SmackDown after Crown Jewel. This SmackDown was similar to Monday Night Raw. It was a 3.5 out of 5. And I say this because you could tell that everyone was not there. They did their best to divide everybody, split everything down the middle. The segments were great on SmackDown, like the opening Bloodline. I thought it was a little bit too long, but still a good way to open the show. They closed out the show where everyone put their wands up in the air. Also, we had the Kevin Owens Randy Orton segment, Randy being taken out. We had a brand new championship that was announced, which is the Women's United States Championship. Another good thing. But the matches as a whole were not all that good. And like I said, I like the MCMG match, A-Town Down Under, but some other matches not so much. And it led to a 3.5 out of 5. It was okay. Not the best show, but not the worst show either. It's right there in the middle. So that's what I thought of this particular episode of WWE SmackDown. Like I said, if it weren't for these segments and Bloodline and KO and Orton, the show really wouldn't have been that okay. Really would have been very, very, very lackluster, to say the least. But at least some stuff did make up for the whole show as a whole. At least it made up for it. So thank goodness for that. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go over what went wrong with SmackDown. And normally I'll go over what's the things, despite the rating, high and low rating, what did I not like about this particular episode of Friday Night SmackDown. And I'm going to go over that right now, actually. And then we'll go over current news. And of course, we'll go into the bonus round. Well, one thing I will admit, Candice LeRae seems odd without Indy Hartwell. Now, I know Indy Hartwell was released last week. I said it last week. I disagree with that move. She should have stayed because she was building a character. She was building Candice to be a heel. And her and Candice worked very well off each other. Candice and Indy actually worked together since the NXT days. NXT, they did well over there. Candice was, like I said, starting to really build a character with herself. But I think it wasn't the best move getting rid of Indy Hartwell. That's just how I see it. That's my opinion on that whole thing. You guys can, have your opinion towards that. I think that was the best call. But I don't know how it's going to affect her character. I know she's still aligned with Nia Jax. Not so much Tiffany Stratton. They're at odds, but definitely with Nia. And I know that's going to lead to Nia and Tiffany having more strain because she cares more about Candice than Tiffany. But anyway, it just seemed kind of odd. I don't know how they're going to build this character. Hopefully, it doesn't bring Candice's character all the way down. I know some people feel a certain way about Candice. They don't care for her as much. I know she's a speed champion, but, that's on X only. That can't bring on TV. But we're going to see what the next move is going to be for Candice LeRae. I thought that stinks, and then this win here, and this match too. That match with versus Bayley wasn't good. This was not a good match as well. So we'll talk about that too. Bayley is a babyface. Candice clearly a heel. I thought normally the way that Bayley pinned Candice, normally when you have a pinfall like that, it's normally a heel tactic. And since Bayley's a babyface, I didn't understand why she needed a cheap win like that, especially against Candice, who Bayley's clearly better than as far as accolades and everything else. Bayley's a multiple-time former women's champion, Royal Rumble winner this year, Money in the Bank ladder match winner. Like, you need a roller to beat Candice LeRae. That made Bayley look weak as a character. Candice LeRae's character, I don't know. But the match with Bayley, it just was not good. I thought it's more like a squash match. It kind of made Bayley look weak and Candice look weak, a little weak as well. With that being said, we already know when it comes down to that, what list it goes on.
You just made the list!
So that made the list. That's one thing I did not like about this episode of SmackDown. But I thought it just could have been a little bit better, in my opinion. Could have been way better. That's how I see it. But hopefully they got some plan for Candice, because people think she's going to get released too. I don't think that's going to be the case, but that's what they're saying. They're saying that they may get released. So we'll see what happens next with the whole Candice LeRae character. But let's get on to the next thing I didn't like about this episode of SmackDown. It's just me or Pretty Deadly are really annoying on SmackDown. Pretty Deadly, I remember them on NXT. I was even shocked when they got called to the main roster. I thought they would have got called to the main roster until this year instead of last year. I don't know. I'm not sure for it. I'm not sure about it. But I don't know, guys. This character's annoying. They're really not all. They're very average, subpar tag team at best. But I guess they're just characters, and I guess they're used as enhancement to put over talents. But some weeks they just get on my nerves, and we already know what happens when we get on my nerves too much on this when it comes to SmackDown.
You just made the list!
So I don't know, Pretty Deadly. We'll see what else happens. Their character just gets on my nerves, just cringe pretty much. I don't know, just cringe when I see these guys in there. All right, next thing I saw wrong. Bianca and Jey need to lose the tag team titles immediately. And the reason I say that because Jey and Bianca, the only threat I do see towards right now currently is Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They are the most threat to their championship. But besides those two, and maybe you could say Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, Jey and Bianca look pretty much too unstoppable. And it's starting to look boring. And it's kind of making them look boring as a tag team. And also Bianca Belair, she needs to go back to having a singles run. She needs to not face Jey one-on-one right away. Just get back to singles run. I think the tag team is bringing her down, my opinion. But they've been teaming up for this whole year. So maybe at the end of the year, early next year, definitely they lose the tag team belts, and Bianca and Jay probably eliminate each other at the Royal Rumble, and they start their program for WrestleMania. Who's the best between Bianca and Jade? But it's just this tag team needs to end immediately at some given point. And you already know, and each time that they come out here and they look too dominant, you know what happens and what list they go on.
You just made the list!
But that's enough I did not like on this current episode of SmackDown. Well, and after we'll switch gears, go to current news. We'll go to current news, see what's going on. Let's get to that shortly. All right, current news for the whole WWE. It says here that reportedly they said that there are plans in the near future, which is very soon. There are plans in place for SmackDown and Raw to both be 3-hour shows beginning in January 2025. It says that there's been a discussion of adding some talents from NXT to the roster at that point. And this is from PWI Insider. So this is the current news going on. I know there's been a lot of speculation. Will SmackDown be 3 hours after New Year? Will Raw go back to 3 hours? But they say both shows are going to be 3 hours. And I kind of figured out with Netflix they was going to do that. But like I said before, I'm getting used to the 2-hour show on Raw. It's actually great. Yeah, SmackDown's been 2 hours. They've never been 3 hours. I don't know if this is the best move for both shows. Raw, I can understand because they got more on a roster, but SmackDown, I definitely not so sure about that one. But that's what they're running with. Salute to you, Brutally on Skip Red. But yeah, they're supposed to move. The both shows supposed to be 3 hours. Now I know there's going to be ads run on Netflix. SmackDown being 7 to 10, I'm not prepared for that just yet. Same with Raw. Like, how could you go from 3 hours for 12 years, then do temporary 2 hours until New Year in 2025, and now we're going back to 3. And then you also added 3 for SmackDown. And they're doing that like they sent this report to complement the roster and even add NXT people. If I had to guess, now I know for sure that Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend will be part of the main roster. They still list as NXT, but they're definitely going to be there. But this is the news going on. I don't know. But what do you guys think of this whole Raw and SmackDown both being 3 hours? Raw returned to 3 hours reportedly, and SmackDown going to 3 hours for the first time ever. Because the only time SmackDown was only 3 hours ever was for special episodes and tributes, anniversaries, stuff like that. But normally to make it 3 hours on a weekly basis, I'm not sure about that. Now I'm not so sure about. I don't know how that's going to work. It's just like we get pulled in, we get so used to one format, then they change it and make it a whole different format. So that I'm not sure how that's going to go, but we're going to see. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll see. But I got to prepare myself for that. I guess they want you to get your money's worth. We know Netflix is $15.99 a month. I guess they want you to get your money's worth and to see the superstars each and every week on Monday Night Raw. So you're gonna get your money's worth of superstars because you're paying $15.99 a month for it. And you know Netflix, you can't share the codes and stuff, sharing with multiple people. They've been cracked down on that a while back. SmackDown, same thing. You're gonna get your money's worth on USA Network. It's going to be 3 hours on Friday night at that. I don't know how that's going to work, but we're going to see how that's going to go. I'm not sure how that will play out. Not sure at all, but that's what they're running. That's how they're going to run this whole thing. Hopefully it works for the better. But we'll see what happens, though. Definitely got to see what happens. That's how they're going to go with that one. So Raw and SmackDown supposed to be 3 hours. Now, and I heard, too, that Peacock the deal that with WWE has. I heard all that content is going to eventually, when that deal is up in 2026, the contract that will move over to Netflix as well. Because Netflix is originally a 10-year deal. They can opt out after 5 if they do not agree to the results of everything of how WWE's doing on Raw. But we'll see what happens though. But I do know that it's definitely gonna be a game changer, making both shows 3 hours each and every week, plus the PLEs. You guys let me know what you think of that situation. With that being said, we are done with round 1. We're done with the SmackDown. We're done talking about the SmackDown rating. We're done talking about what went wrong with Raw. I mean, what went wrong with SmackDown, excuse me, current news, and etc. We're done talking about all of that stuff there. But now, we're surely going to switch gears, and we're going to move over to the bonus round. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how to book the OG Bloodline versus the original Bloodline, which will be set for Survivor Series. So give me a couple minutes. We're going to get that ready. All right, all right. We're here back. We're back. We're at the bonus round. We're going to talk about the whole how to book the OG Bloodline. How to book this whole thing. Now we know that OG Bloodline have officially got back to reunite, take on the current Bloodline. But how would this go? How you book the Survivor Series War Games match? Now we know that we have 2 dominant bloodlines. You know, we have one good team of bloodlines that definitely are forced to be reckoned with. How you slice it, these 2 definitely teams are going to go at it. This basically comes down to who is the most dominant team. And this is when it comes down to, it's kind of similar to, I don't know, maybe an NWO type of thing. NWO, the red and black versus maybe a black and white. 2 different types of variations of bloodline. So we do have the original Bloodline here. We have them first, and we have the original Bloodline that is Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, and the Usos, Jimmy and Jey. Now we know these 2 all have history together. They have faced off in War Games before. They have had been a War Games match back in 2022, in which they did win as well, when Sami Zayn Haluva Kick Low Blow KO Kevin Owens and won the match. So we know these guys work very well together. We are we're aware of that. And I remember that War Games, it was very good actually. So I remember those days. But they're trying to relive that magic. Back to 2022, literally 2 years later. Now, more than likely, it's been talked about that these 2 are going to reunite. We know they was talking they was going to get back together. All of that, we remember all of that. But now it's like we're turning back the clock. We literally turn back the clock on this one. We're gonna see them once again reuniting. We're gonna see all four. We thinking it's gonna be a 5-on-5. I heard there's rumors as well that there may be someone else from coming into the bloodline. I don't know if that's the case, and it would be too late for chemistry wise to put them with these four who have worked together before. But we know that this is a one-time thing with the OG bloodline. More than likely, after this match, these four are not all going to be together anymore. We know that's not going to be the case because these two, they definitely shut it down. A great War Games match. We know that this is back when Roman was champion. This is back when Sami was trying to prove himself. This when Solo first came into the fold. And now it's just crazy how times have changed only within 2 years. So we got this War Games. Like I said, it's the original bloodline minus Solo. And I know we all waiting for the Wise Men to come back too. So that's what I'm concerned about too. Where's the Wise Man at? Now, however, they're going against this new bloodline. You got Solo, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, Tagaloa. So all these guys are going against each other, and they're going to battle it out. So it could come down to this thing. Now, if I were to book this particular matchup of all these men, now this is a mock-up thing. I don't think Cody Rhodes is going to get involved with Bloodline again. I don't see Rock get involved, not in the matchup. But if I were to book this matchup, the 4-on-4 of all four of these guys on each team, I will pick the OG Bloodline to win this match. I will have these guys win. And it makes sense because normally we just had the Crown Jewel match. We just had Roman, he lost. Him and the Usos lost. And Roman was even pinned by Solo Sikoa. I don't see them losing again. I don't see that happening again. It will make sense for them to do it again. But I know when these guys teamed up together, like Sami said, it was something special. And they looked like they could wreak havoc for real. So we can't forget the history of what the Bloodline has done. So the only difference is there will be no Solo. Not on this team. Solo will be on the opposite team this time. But I'm more likely it will make sense to have the OG Bloodline win this matchup with the 4-on-4. I don't see why it would make sense to have them lose once again. It don't make sense if you have Solo and the current Bloodline win. They already lost the tag team belts because of Bloodline. They got the win back from Crown Jewel. We expect to see this image again. Standing tall, of course, like I said, minus Solo. I will have the OG Bloodline to win this particular matchup. It will only make sense to have them win. I wouldn't expect it any other way, honestly. But that's how they're going to play off with that. It'd be great to do it that way. Now, like I said, it'll be the last time Sami Zayn is teaming up with the Bloodline. I don't see that happening again. It don't make sense to do that again. Roman and, of course, Usos will also go off, and they'll go their separate ways. That's how I would do that particular matchup. It don't make no sense at all. So we're going to see, though. This is going to be very interesting. One of the big match we want to see for Survivor Series. Now, since they do win, like I said, everybody's going to go their separate ways. Whether you guys like it or not, that's how it's going to go. However, I don't know if Jey Uso will go back. Don't know if he'll go back to I don't know if Jey Uso will go back to Raw. I think more likely Since he lost the Intercontinental Championship, him and Jimmy will be a tag team again on SmackDown. Sami Zayn will go back to Raw. And Roman is going to feud off the person he did call out on SmackDown before the OG Bloodline reunited. It's going to be Solo. And I could easily see him and Solo have a match. After this win, they're going to duke it out at Royal Rumble. And it's going to be for the Ula Falah. However you pronounce it. If I said it wrong, you guys know what I mean. So don't be technical, be petty like that. But you guys know the necklace, the Ula Falah. And these two are going to fight out. More likely, since Roman and his team wins at Survivor Series, since Solo and his team won at Crown Jewel. Remember, Solo pinned Roman. That gives him a claim that he is the official tribal chief. Roman still want that back. And I can see these two having a match at the Royal Rumble for that. And it could be for the tribal chief title, the original tribal chief, or the Ula Falah. That's how they will book that situation as well. Like I said, everybody will go off their separate ways after Survivor Series is done. But I will book this match. It makes sense to have Solo versus Roman. This is the whole remember when Roman came back at SummerSlam after Solo had his match against Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship, which Solo did not win. Roman came out and he Superman punched Solo and he speared him. That's the first person he attacked when he immediately came back. So we knew at some given point that Roman and Solo was going to have a one-on-one match, because ever since Roman lost the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship at WrestleMania 40 against Cody, Solo's been taking the title of Tribal Chief and running his mouth, talking crap about Roman, and Roman lost, and I'm taking over now, and Solo has the team he has currently. But that's what's going to lead to this match. So we know it's going to come down to that. But the thing about it is, now at this match, how we'll book this one, and it's pretty simple. I could say Roman's going to win this match. Roman can win this match at Royal Rumble. He gets Ula Falah back. Get that back when he defeats Solo. That could very well be the case here. Thing about it is, I've been saying this for a while. Solo didn't just come out the wood gates and start saying stuff about Roman. He was prompted to say this about Roman Reigns. He was set up to it. Basically, Solo would be the puppet and someone's pulling his strings. But who's pulling Solo's strings? Who's pulling Solo's so-called strings at that matter? And then two, this is where we get setup match of The Rock. The Rock still got beef against Roman. He still did not like how things are going. And the way I would do it, it would start off with having The Rock, as soon as the OG Bloodline wins that match at Survivor Series War Games, The Rock can appear and do a stand down with Roman. And that's it. He can even come out and attack Roman, but this is the match that most people had wanted originally for WrestleMania 40 before the whole, as Rock called it, the Cody Crybabies came out and demanded to have Cody instead of him. So now that Cody and Roman had their match at WrestleMania, now that Cody is the Undisputed Universal Champion, the WWE Champion, Rock, they said he's going to face Cody at WrestleMania next year. I highly doubt that. They will have a match at some given point, but not at WrestleMania 41. Cody will be busy. He'll be preoccupied already, or more likely. But I would say Roman is going to have, after he finished with Solo at Royal Rumble, the way I will book it, him and Rock will have a match at WrestleMania 41 in Vegas. Night 1, night 2, it don't matter. I don't care. They're going to have a match at some given point at WrestleMania. Whatever night it is. Could more likely be night 2 if you want to be technical. And it's going to be how things are going. Rock is going to be for Roman saying, you lost the title at WrestleMania 40 after the night after Roman and Rock did win the tag team match against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and that allowed Roman to get the advantage for the match against Cody, which would be Bloodline rules. And Rock was the one who pinned Cody Rhodes at night one in the tag team match. He did pin Cody. So Rock said, "Yo, we gave you the advantage. We won a match for you. You had Bloodline rules, had everything working in your corner, and you still managed to lose the championship at WrestleMania 40." And Rock would say everything is not, after Roman lost, you left, and everything has been up and down. And Rock can say that too. And then Rock can also step in if he is the guy behind Solo, saying, "Hey, Solo, you get the job done, Royal Rumble. You lost against Roman. The Ula Falal Roman got back. So I guess I got to take matters to my own hands, and I take care of it myself." That's how we would get that match. And this is how it's all going to go. And the story's all going to be derived originally from, it all starts here at War Games. War Games is going to kick off a lot of stuff. For Roman, Solo, Rock, everybody get the issues handled, everything. But I will say this, after WrestleMania, after Rock and Roman, after everything's done, the Bloodline story needs to officially end after this, guys. We don't need another Bloodline. Because let's be honest, Bloodline has been started since 2020. There's nothing else to prove. What more story can you do with the Bloodline? You have Roman in his long 1,316-day run as champion. Roman had the original Bloodline. Then he lost the belt. You have Solo have his new Bloodline. You have The Rock coming in. Everybody's been involved in Bloodline. The Rock. In the past year, The Rock, Jacob Fatu, Tagaloa, Tama Tonga. It's been a lot of people involved. Zilla Vatu and Hakulio, I don't think they're going to be involved. But the Bloodline, they're going to have to end this at some given point. Because it's been 4 years, going on 5. At this point, it will be marks 5 years, pretty much, or closing in on 5 years, that the Bloodline was originally formed. And this whole story has been a great roller coaster. Well, like they say, all good things must come to an end. And this whole Bloodline story is going to come to an end next year. Because if you keep running this whole bloodline, and bloodline, it's going to get sour. It's going to get boring. And when you keep running that whole bloodline angle, it's not so much to do. You're going to have people saying stuff like this.
And no yeet.
And then you have people also saying when they see the bloodline come on TV,
No.
they're not going to be interested anymore. They're like, we're tired of bloodline. We heard enough. It's been going on for years. We don't want to see any more of the bloodline in any way, shape, or form. And you can't blame them for that. You really can't. So that's how that's going to be. That's how it's going to come down to. At some point, the bloodline's about to end. And like I said, we'll get all the matches that we're supposed to get. We'll get the Survivor Series War Games, Bloodline versus Bloodline, which I've been stating all year long. We're going to get that. Now it's official. And Rock will come out. He'll make his mark, just like he did at Bad Blood. But this time, it'll be directly towards Roman. Not just stand at the whole ring, but Roman. Because remember, he counted the numbers and all that stuff. Then, like I said, then we'll shift over to Royal Rumble. It continues. We'll get Survivor Series. Then we'll get, like I said, we'll get a Royal Rumble match. Elimination Chamber, I don't think anything's going to happen there. And then later on, we'll get something at WrestleMania 41. This is how the story's going to go. That's how I will book this whole thing. It's going to start at War Games, and this whole thing should eventually end at WrestleMania 41. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, people are not going to hear this no more. Bloodline, it's been the longest story of any. Bloodline was around before even Judgment Day. So they have to do proper booking as far as this goes. If you do the booking right, it'll be fine. Like I said, we'll get this magic one more time. One more time, we'll get it. At some point, things are going to have to be closed out. As long as the OG Bloodline wins the Survivor Series, I think it'll be great because we don't need to see the current Bloodline win again. We don't need to see that. I don't think it makes sense to even do it that way. But I will like to see how they're going to plan all this out. It's going to be an interesting story. Definitely an interesting story to say the least. But when they do that, it's going to be good. But as long as that happens, I think it'll be great. But only time will tell what they're going to do with the Bloodline. So I really don't want this whole thing to get stale, get boring, or anything. Because the last thing you want is to see the story go from good to sour, to recognizable to not recognizable. Them stories you do not want. Tell you don't want that story. That's the kind of thing you don't want. But we're going to see who's going to duke it out between the Bloodline, OG Bloodline, and the current Bloodline. We're going to see how it's going to be handled. We're going to see all of that. And that's going to be something great. And like I said, other than that, Roman, I think after the WrestleMania match, then we're going to expect Roman to take some more time off. They said that Roman's been on TV for 5 consecutive weeks in a row, which is a little over a month. Roman after WrestleMania 41 will take some more time off again. He will. I don't know how long it'd be. Maybe SummerSlam again or whatever, Money in the Bank, whatever the case may be. Rock will go off, do what he does normally. He's not a full timer either. He shows up what he does. But that's how the story should end. And I think there'll be no more story to Bloodline, like I said before, because how many more stories can you tell of Bloodline? How many times can you explain of all these variations of Bloodline? You got the OG Bloodline, Bloodline 2.0. We're going to do Bloodline 2.5, Bloodline 3.0. We don't want to see all of that. We do not want to see all these Bloodlines. And same with this Bloodline here, speaking of which, the current Bloodline, after this story over, they need to branch off. Jacob Fatu, he's going to be a star. Tama Tonga and Tonga Logan be a tag team, and Solo be by himself. They could try to be together for a little bit longer, but to no avail, it's going to do anything. Not effective at least anymore, because you've been defeated. You're not going to be seen as that threat as you think you are now. You're not really a threat now, but at least as you appear to be. You're not going to be that big threat anymore. So these guys, trust me, will break up. It's just like the OG Bloodline where everybody will break off and do their own thing. That's how I will book that whole situation. It only makes sense to do it that way. Solo, he's clearly there to put over Roman or whoever. Tonga and Tonga, maybe they get another run with the tag team championships on SmackDown. Maybe not. But Jacob Fatu, he's going to be the X factor in this whole thing. He's going to really branch off and do very well. I can see him being a mid-card feud going for the United States title. Maybe get drafted to Raw. Maybe even compete for a world title and become world champion at some point, because Jacob Fatu definitely has the it factor. He can move in the ring. He can talk good, as we saw on SmackDown. So anything is possible. Jacob Fatu, I feel like there's no ceiling when it comes to him. As far as Bloodline goes, just cut it. Cut at this point, and we get a new dominant stable. How about create new stables after this whole thing's over? Because that's how it should be anyway. Because Bloodline, them being around, the longer they are, the more they take a shine away from other people. I mean, that's hence why Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business is no more. They had to go over to AEW, be the Hurt Syndicate. That's why some factions like LWO and the Final Testament got drafted to Raw, because all the TV time and all the shine that Bloodline's getting on SmackDown. So with Bloodline story being over, it will allow the door to be open to more stables getting more screen time and more buzz in WWE. I will say that will help that a lot, because Bloodline can't have a shine forever. It'd be suck if they do, but I really will hope for them not to get all that kind of shine. They don't need that kind of shine. So, and I think, and as long as it's a great storybook ending, I think it'll be good once they do it that way. Everybody has a good storybook ending, and they close a good chapter. One of the best stables of all time, pretty much. And most people see it that way.
Yeet.
So that's how I would book that, and that's how the storyline of the OG Bloodline versus Bloodline ends, and there'll be no more Bloodline. And that's all I have regarding how to book the OG Bloodline versus Bloodline for a Survivor Series War Games match. You guys let me know, how would you book this particular match from Survivor Series to Royal Rumble all the way to WrestleMania 41. You tell me who are the key factors, who are the key players in this whole story. Soon to reveal will pop up. You guys click the links below. You guys already know what it is at this point. It is OU.
Like I say this a lot, we're not a sport, we're a movie about a sport, or a TV show about a sport, right? So the interest of all the other...
I feel like the heel turn did wonders for me. There was a sense of reality in that, to where I had hit a point, and the babyface stuff was going great. The Alpha Academy stuff was going great. We had a blast with that. But I'm a realist, and I'm also like a long-term thinker.